Republican President Edgar Lungu has called on the church to pray against tribalism in the country. Government has reassured the nation the current daily power rationing will not exceed 4 hours. Welcome to the news. Republican President Edgar Lungu has called on the church to pray against tribalism in the country. President Edgar Lungu believes that with the help of the church, tribalism can be overcome. He is worried that if tribalism is allowed to thrive, Zambia will be destroyed. The president has since encouraged the church not to grow weary of praying for the nation and politicians in the country. Zanis reports that the president was speaking in Solwezi on Sunday during a church service at Bethel Evangelical Church. And in a homily, Bethel Evangelical Church presiding pastor Christopher Lutuna called on Zambians to remain united as this is a recipe for development. Pastor Lutuna says that people should have the desire to reconcile with each other and diffuse tension amongst themselves. 5 billion litres of water has so far been used from the 15 billion litres Zambia was allocated to generate power at the Kariba Dam power plant. Energy Minister Matthew Nkoa says the country has been using 2.5 billion litres every month to produce 390 megawatts of power on a daily basis since the 1st of June this year. In an interview with Q News, Mr. Nkoa states that the remaining 10 billion litres of water is thus expected to last the country up to December this year. Mr. Nkoa has since assured the nation that the current daily schedule for power rationing will not go beyond 4 hours between now and December. He, however, notes that the country may have power deficit problems if it does not receive any rains by the end of December.
We allocated 15 billion liters of water. So what we did is we have divided that 15 billion liters to go up to end of December. Okay, so we are using equal amount of water from the reservoir every month so that we can go up to December. Because if we try to produce too much, we can run out of water and then you have no electricity. So we are better off giving you 4 hours off so that we can reserve the water. So that is the idea. The idea is that we planned that unless if there is no rain by end of December, then we have problems because by end of December, we expect that we would have depleted the current water. We are supposed to use 2.5 billion liters of water every month. So far, we have done 2 months. We have used 5 billion. So there's 10 billion which should run in the next four months or so. That is remaining in the year.
The Bank of Zambia, BOZ, has expressed concern that the village banking system is reducing the circulation of money in the country. BOZ Director, Banking, Currency and Payment Services, Lazarus Kamanga, says that the central bank is however developing applications for village banking groups to digitize their banking methods. Mr. Kamanga states that it is also important to note that saving money in financial institutions is much safer than keeping it in homes. He has advised the financial institutions in the country to find a way of helping members of the village banking systems start saving their money in bank accounts.
What we have noticed of late is that there are some innovations. I think you have heard this word fintechs. So there are some fintechs that are trying to develop applications that can be used by some of these members of these village banking groups to digitize most of that. Because once they come onto the digital platform, it means they will no longer be keeping those coins under their mattresses, because the money will be able to be used within their grouping through their mobile phones.
The opposition UPND has denied threatening any of its members of parliament that are in support of some provisions of the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2019. UPND Secretary General Stephen Katuka says that the party leadership believes that its MPs are mature enough to make the independent decisions of whether to support the bill or not. Mr. Katuka has told QTV News that this explains why none of them that attended the National Dialogue Forum, NDF, have faced any consequences for going against the party position. He has, however, disclosed that the adoption of who contest in the 2021 general elections will depend on how each individual UPND MP has performed in the last 5 years. Ms. Katuka says the party leadership has always been monitoring how each one of them have been performing, both in Parliament and in their constituencies. He states that the UPND adoption process for the 2021 general elections will therefore not be reliant on whether an MP attended the NDF or not.
And 2021 is not now, it is 2 years from now. We allowed those who did not want to follow the party position to go for NDF. They went for NDF and no consequences whatsoever have been meted out on them. We believe they are big enough to make independent decisions. They are not small boys. However, if a position is taken by the party, we expect that every well-meaning party member will respect the decision of the party. But I've not heard of anybody being threatened. You know, adoptions will be done, of course, and will be based on their performance. We always monitor what they do in Parliament, we monitor what they do in their constituencies, and what they do when they are in Lusaka here. So all those, we have got record of how they are performing. So it is not just about going to NDF and then or supporting this, then you will not be adopted. If you are not adopted, you haven't performed well. It's not about NDF. It is about your performance in the 5 years you have been a member of Parliament.
The government has been advised to seriously consider the advice that is being given on the issue of Konkola Copper Mines, KCM. People's Alliance for Change, PAC leader and Ford Banda is calling on government to urgently resolve the issue and avert any possible crisis that may arise. Mr. Banda is concerned that the longer it takes to resolve the KCM issue, the more the country risks a crisis. He states that government should also keep in mind that investors always want to be assured that their investments will remain safe.
Once we, as a country, decide that we don't care about international judgments, that have got bearing in this country, which means that we scare away many investors. It means that there will not be any jobs. There will not be any foreign direct investment that will come in the country. So for us as PAC, our caution is that let's find a route that is safe, that will still get us to the results that we want, that will ensure this issue is sorted out quickly, because the longer it takes, the more the risk of us, getting to a major crisis. That is our advice, to the government. And we don't want to also chase our investors because they feel it's not safe to operate in this country. So those are some of the things that we need to look at. And we hope the government can actually quickly, realize and put their political egos outside and focus more on finding a true solution, a solution that has got nothing to do with politics.
Well, I'll take you to India, where India's second largest stainless steel manufacturing company, Rinjim Ispat Limited, is interested in setting up a steel manufacturing facility in Zambia. Rinjim Ispat Limited Executive Director Rohit Agawar says the company is attracted to invest because of Zambia's peaceful record and political stability. Mr. Agawar says the investment in Zambia would create 500 jobs in the interim and 4,000 jobs in the long term. This came to light when Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kabichimpanga, toured one of the Rinjim Ispat Limited's Steel Manufacturing Limited in Kanpur in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. We have more in the following report.
Rinjim Ispat Limited is India's second largest stainless steel manufacturing company. The company is interested in setting up operations in Zambia. Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapijimpanga, toured one of Rinjim Ispat Limited's steel manufacturing facilities in Kanipur in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, where she met Rinjim Ispat Limited's Executive Director Rohit Agrawal. The investment in Zambia would create 500 jobs in the interim and 4,000 jobs in the long term.
If we agree that you can replicate it back home, we will realize a lot of job creation, especially for our youths.
It being one of those countries which is very politically stable, economically growth is there. We have youth population who's eager to grow, who's looking for good opportunities. So that is what attracts us to bring our expertise in steel manufacturing to Zambia.
Manufacturing, which is among the top 5 priority economic areas in Zambia, is needed for value addition to raw materials. Banganavile, Uttar Pradesh, India. Rimjim Ispat.
Support for Vulnerable and Active Leadership, ZULU, has opposed calls to declare the recorded number of teen pregnancies in the Eastern Province a national disaster. Executive Director Eugene Machona says his organization thinks that there is much that needs to be done by government and the civil society before such a declaration can be made. Mr. Machona notes that there is need, for example, to check if the preventive interventions being made by both government and TSOs are actually reaching the intended people.
Do we just see, good speeches, media pronouncement, and yet we don't get to the bottom or the root cause of these factors? Because definitely, I've said it time and again to say, giving a healing, encouragement to somebody that needs the physical support does not actually help at all. So we need to reach to a point to say, okay, what leads these young children or young girls into such activities? So when we begin to addressing the key factor that are pushing them to do what they are doing, then definitely be able to address these factors. And if you talk about, the province that is being mentioned here, it has been, time and again, we get so much reports, so much high numbers from this particular province. So definitely, Zambia in general, we hear all these reports, but I think the best method, like what we do as a local NGO, is always to be on the ground.
Labour and Social Security Permanent Secretary Barnaby Mlenga has added his voice in expressing concern over the levels of misuse of social media in Zambia. Mr. Mlenga has observed that some people in the country are using social media to spread falsehoods. He has told QTV News that his disquiet is, however, that people are reacting to such falsehoods without first verifying the information. Mr. Mlenga states that it is nevertheless important for people to always find out the truth whenever they come across questionable information on social media.
And before you know it, you find groups, people are even discussing. I know of certain social media platforms where people began to even attack innocent people. I know of certain programs where I read some comments where people were even attacking Honorable Joyce Nondesimko, our minister. Now this is an innocent person who's never even made such a pronouncement, who's never even discussed it. And so she was shocked that, look, where is this coming from? But my advice to the members of the public is that when you hear anything which is bordering on public policy, government, please take time to find out, because people are concocting stories, and before you know it, they upload them on social media. And before long, people are all sharing, and people are criticizing, others even get very agitated. Why would government do this to us? And yet, government hasn't even done that. So it's very important that some of the things we read on social media, we see, it's important to just take time to confirm the authenticity.
Still in our local news, UPND Secretary General Patrick Mcheleka has advised Paramount Chief Chitim Kulum of the Bemba-speaking people to stop selling land in the chiefdom. Mr. Mcheleka is concerned that selling land will negatively affect the growth of the chiefdom. He states that this is because once land is sold, forests are likely to be destroyed.
Ubufumu buchindikabene namba ubufumu impanganga yapwa ubufumu buli kwi nishi nshirandire pali bankole mfumu mwali mfa kwati yona abashitishe mpanga ba munkongo mwali mfa kwati nabashitishe mpanga ba makasa mwali mfa kwati nabashitishe mpanga bankola mwali mfa kwati nabashitishe mpanga ba chikwanda nabashitishe mpanga imfumu muno cyalo ushingite chimukulu yeka namba basha mfumu alengira uyo uchiti mukulu alengira na mumpange ishiri yakwe aletinya barabasha mfumu abanono badate barya nga balanda ko kutina ngana alanda ko fino ko yapachirimba umukuntinya namba bushawudi yatantinya inga satani shtantininche olo alemu pasagola nina murandire ko firafina ndela ndira kumwebekala chalo pando cha mushishi be imwe na mwikala pano mukesi bakesa izafikwa tusedeni impanga twali pela investor mukayakwe.
Police are investigating a matter in which a male cadet from an unknown school attempted to deposit 2,400 kwacha counterfeit notes at an Airtel money booth in Lusaka. Police spokesperson Esther Katongo says the alleged incident happened on Saturday at the ongoing 93rd Agricultural and Commercial Show. Ms. Katongo said the said cadet fled the booth after he was questioned by the money transfer agent of the booth about where he got the counterfeit notes from, which were all 100 kwacha notes. She states that arrangements are, however, being made to have the suspect identified through relevant institutions. As we end the news, a recap of stories making headlines. Republican President Edgar Lungu has called on the church to pray against tribalism in the country. And government has reassured the nation that the current daily power rationing will not exceed 4 hours. Until next time, is bye-bye and God bless.